Hello gamers, my name is Blaze and welcome to the 2019 Game of the Year show. Today I'm going to talk about all the games I played in 2019 and select one of those games to be my favorite game of 2019, aka Game of the Year. So the way that this works is here are all the games that I played in 2019. Now you might notice that some of those games did not come out in 2019, and that's okay. There were a couple of games there that I played for the very first time in 2019, and I figure it's worth talking about them, though those games will not be considered for Game of the Year. The way it works is I'll select one game at a time and eliminate that game from consideration, and as I do that I'll explain what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and we'll keep going until we get to one game standing, and that game will be crowned Game of the Year 2019 on this channel. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and eliminate the first games from consideration and make our way down the list. So first things first, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. There are two games on this list that did not come out in 2019. Obviously, Injustice 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I picked up Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite in March to kind of feed my my desire for a fighting game. And I heard some decent things from a few people, but I think the initial release of that game was kind of messy. So there wasn't really a whole lot of love, I should say, for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Picked it up, it was around the time that Avengers Endgame was coming out, and I just wanted something to play that was comic book related and fighting game related, and it kind of filled both of those spots. I enjoyed the game for what it was. It was fun. I enjoyed the fighting mechanics. It was 2-on-2. The story was okay. The graphics were better than they initially were when they came out. The fighting was fast paced. The music was amazing. And overall, I liked the selection of characters, though it wasn't quite what I would hope for in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. It was still fun, and they had new mechanics like using certain Infinity Stones to give you certain power-ups and other things throughout the fight. So I enjoyed the game, but today going back and playing it may not be the best experience, and there may not be a whole lot of people playing it anymore, and I think the initial backlash kind of turned off a lot of people to making this game popular in the first place. So obviously it came out in 2018. It was never going to be Game of the Year, but I did play it and I liked it for what it was. The next game, Injustice 2, came out 2018, I believe. It was not 2019, and I picked it up shortly after I picked up Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And similar situation, I really liked it. It was right before Mortal Kombat 11 was coming out, and I just wanted a fighting game. I just wanted something that was fun, that was easy to play. And I gotta say, I was very impressed with Injustice 2. The gameplay was fun. The combo system was a step up from what I experienced in Injustice 1 and Mortal Kombat 9. And I honestly liked playing it. The cast of characters was great. The combo system was fluid. And they also had this online what's it called, the online multiple Earth mode, where you can actually go to different Earths and fight your way through this gauntlet of enemies and earn new cosmetic upgrades for your character. So you can kind of customize your character in a ton of different ways, which I love that about this game. Just that you could, like, it's going to sound weird, but you can buy replacement arms to switch out the arms of your character. You can buy replacement legs, torso, head, to kind of switch out those assets from your character and make them look very different from what you might see other people do. So I think that overall the game was great. The graphics were wonderful. The fighting was fun. The combo system was very much improved from Injustice 1. And I had a fun time playing it up until Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and that kind of took over my life for a few months, and I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat 11, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, of course, those two games have been eliminated. We're not going to name those games Game of the Year, obviously because they did not come out in 2019. So, the next game I'm going to take off the list might surprise you, and I hope you guys aren't super upset with me for doing this early in the video, especially seeing the list of the group of games that are still left over. And I'm real sorry to have to do it, but it's Kingdom Hearts 3. So I picked up Kingdom Hearts 3 at the beginning of the year, back during PlayStation Week on my channel. We played Resident Evil 2, the remake, on my channel earlier this year, or last year, in the beginning of the year, and I thought, why not? I'll make it a whole week and we'll just play PlayStation games for the whole week on my channel. So I picked up Kingdom Hearts 3, and everything about this game says I should love it. Everything. The graphics are amazing, the music was awesome, the characters were great, the worlds that you visit were, inspired by Disney, which I like Disney movies just fine. The combat system was fine. There are so many pluses for this game. And even though I barely played Kingdom Hearts 1, that opening cinematic for Kingdom Hearts 3 had me choked up. I really thought that it was going to be something that I fell in love with. And I tried so hard. I got all the way to the Toy Story world, I think it was, and I just kind of lost interest. And Resident Evil came out shortly after Kingdom Hearts came out, and I just didn't have time to finish it, and to be fair, I didn't want to. I felt like I was forcing myself to play it, and that's not really any way that you'd want to experience a game. So, for those of you that love Kingdom Hearts, you have to forgive me because I tried very hard to like the game. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't for me. But the things that I liked about Kingdom Hearts are probably some of the things that you like about Kingdom Hearts. So, of course, the music, the graphics, the gameplay, the characters. If you're wrapped up in the Kingdom Hearts story, this probably was a great game to push that story forward into a new direction, and I hope that it did all of those things for you. I just have to say that for me personally, it does not make Game of the Year, but not because it's a bad game. It's a great game, and it probably is your Game of the Year, but only because I just couldn't get into it. So my apologies to those of you who loved it, but Kingdom Hearts has been eliminated. So, moving on from there, we're going to talk about the next game that we're going to eliminate, which is none other than Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So, I picked up this game after having seen the E3 trailer. I saw it at E3. I thought, wow, finally, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming to Switch. I have to get this game because it looks awesome. Picked it up, and I think I really only played it for I want to say less than 10 hours probably. It was fun. It was a fun game. I really enjoyed the huge cast of characters that appear to be in the game. I really enjoyed the leveling up, and some of the boss battles were pretty cool, and the combat system was pretty cool. Just overall, the game was fun, but to be totally honest, I don't remember that much about it. I really don't remember anything about the game because it just seemed like it wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. And it seemed like it was going to be a huge grind to get to, whatever level I wanted to get to. Again, the graphics were great, the voice acting was cool. I liked, from what I saw of the story, I liked the story. The music was fun. I think where it kind of lost me was two things, and one's not really fair, but the first thing that lost me was just, I think, the grind, which I mentioned a second ago. But the second thing that lost me is there really wasn't a community that I found for it. I know there probably is a community out there for this game, but my attempts to play it on Twitch, I basically was playing the game by myself. Nobody was watching, and that's not really fair. But I didn't see a whole lot of interest in the game from outside of my own bubble here in this room. So I kind of put it down and kind of moved on. But I mean, the game looked great. There's downloadable content coming out for it all the time. I think there's been 2 free characters, and there's 2 downloadable character packs that have come out for it. So, if you're a Marvel fan, if you like the original games, X-Men Legends and Marvel Ultimate Alliance, you're probably going to love Ultimate Alliance 3. And especially if you have friends that want to play it with you, that might be pretty fun too. I just think that the game kind of fell short because while it was popular at E3 and when it was first announced, it just kind of lost its steam. And that's kind of where I think it hit me the most, is that it just kind of flatlined once it was released. But I think there is a community for it, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I just couldn't find it. So the next game I'm going to take off the list is a game that I picked up pretty recently within the last couple of months, and one that I didn't expect to pick up, but it was on sale and I figured, what the heck, I'll just pick it up and play it. It's Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. This game actually was fun. I enjoyed playing it. I thought it was a pretty fun game. I had a really hard time figuring out some of the mechanics of the game. It does have your typical Mario Kart trick boosting. It's got power sliding, and it's got, you know, plates on the track too that you can roll over and speed through. It is a fun game. It's got a nice adventure mode that you can play through, and there's other challenges and things to unlock while playing through the adventure mode. I will say that I liked the game. I really did. I liked the huge cast of characters and the fact that you have to unlock these characters. I think that's pretty cool. They're not all available to you right away. And I liked the visuals were great. I played it on PlayStation. I was going to get it picked between Switch or PlayStation. I ended up playing it on PlayStation because the load times were so much faster. So we'll talk about the things I didn't like in a second. But the graphics were great. The music was fun. The cast of characters is huge. The unlockables seem like they're never ending. It seems like there's a ton of unlockables in this game, and you'll probably never get bored trying to unlock things. I really enjoyed the different stages. There's a ton of stages too, and they keep adding new ones. They keep doing this Grand Prix mode where you can actually earn. It's a little bit like Fortnite, where you actually earn points to unlock, you know, new things as you continue to play. It doesn't cost anything to get into this. It's just something that's always available to you, and you always earn these coins as you play the game. And there's other challenges and stuff that'll help you unlock, you know, the seasonal items. So overall, it was a fun game. There are a few things I did not like about it, and there's a little bit of backlash to it too. I think people were upset that Activision they released a patch to allow you to buy coins, which they said they weren't going to do. They said there weren't going to be any microtransactions in the game. And then shortly after the game's launch, they added microtransactions. So that's a bummer. You don't earn the coins very quickly, so you do have to play a bunch of races to get a bunch of coins. That's a little bit of a bummer. The load times are extremely long, like way longer than I ever thought that they would be for any game. Especially going into a single race, it took a long time, and looking at the comparison from Switch to PlayStation, it was crazy. So I had to get PlayStation because it was the only way to have those lower load times. I mean, overall the game was fun, and I think that it's definitely worth trying if you can get it for a little bit cheaper. But there were a few things I don't like about it, and I feel like after I beat the adventure mode, there wasn't really a whole lot to do. I can go through and try to, you know, complete all the challenges in the adventure mode, and that might give me some more coins and some more unlockables. But I felt like there was a ton of stuff to unlock, and it was going to take a long time to do all that stuff. So I kind of set it down, and it was fun still, and I think it's you'll probably enjoy it if you pick it up and play it. But you know, you won't have all the characters available right away, and it's going to take some time to get that stuff unlocked. So Crash Team Racing has been eliminated from the Game of the Year list. As for the next game, well, this one's kind of an easy one because I really enjoyed it on the Wii U when it first came out, but I'm eliminating Super Mario Maker 2. I played a lot of Mario Maker 1, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that the building mechanics were very easy to use. The touchscreen was awesome. You can make a whole course by using the touchscreen. It was very intuitive and very simple to understand. And I made a few courses and played a bunch of the downloadable courses and user-created courses. And I did a bunch of playing with Mario Maker. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't stream it because there was a glitch that it would always start lagging for some reason. But regardless, I liked Mario Maker 1. I picked up Mario Maker 2 with the hopes of making a ton of courses and streaming it and playing it all the time. I was never really that good at Mario games, and a lot of the stages and courses that were coming out required you to do crazy techniques and spin jumps and all kinds of just weird stuff that I just couldn't do. So that was tough, but I know there's a way to lower the difficulty, so that wasn't really a problem. I think the biggest problem for me was that while trying to design courses, it was more tedious. It felt like it was harder to make a course in Mario Maker 2 than it was in Mario Maker 1. So my attempts at playing the game and enjoying the game kind of fell flat because there just wasn't a whole lot that I enjoyed doing. I had to kind of put it down because I couldn't figure out, first, what I wanted to do, and then second, when I had an idea, I had to figure out where these items were and put them in. So I made one course, and I'll put the course ID up here if you'd like to see it and play through it. One of my favorite courses ever. It was super fun, fast-paced, and you might like it. But overall, Mario Maker 2 was a great game. I loved it so much on the Wii U, and I wanted to like it on the Switch. I really did, but I couldn't. I just had a hard time getting into it. So maybe one of these days I'll pick it up again and see if anything's changed. But I think that it just felt slower overall, designing courses and things like that. And the mechanics seem to have changed too a little bit. Maybe that's just me, but I felt like the game mechanics seem to change. But yeah, Mario Maker 2 for the Switch has been eliminated. So that leaves us with 4 games. 4 games left over. You might be surprised by my next pick, because the next elimination is going to hurt just a little bit. Me, at least. It's going to hurt me a little bit. So, the next game that I'm eliminating is Pokemon Sword. I love Pokemon. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I've loved Pokemon since Red and Blue, since, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Gold and Silver. I mean, all the Pokemon games that came out in the 90s, I loved them. I loved playing Pokemon. It was one of my favorite franchises. I liked Diamond and Pearl were great games. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were awesome. I liked X and Y. They were okay. And then Sun and Moon were cool too. And I knew there was going to be something missing, or something that was not quite right with Pokemon Sword because of the National Dex being gone. I knew that going in, and I very much want to give this game a higher rating, but I think with some of the things that were missing, made it very difficult for me to select this as the top 3. And it hurts me to eliminate this game because I liked the Pokemon that were introduced. The Galar forms were awesome. I liked going back to gym battles, and it seems like they made the game a lot more simple as far as leveling up and doing battles and training your Pokemon. They made it more accessible for people who, like me, don't have any time to play. So if I want to build my own team, I can go in and I can make a team pretty quickly, compared to what it used to be back in like Diamond and Pearl and things like that. Like breeding for natures, breeding for abilities, and all that stuff was extremely tedious in those old games. And they made it much more accessible because, I don't have time. I can't do it. So it's nice to know that they're looking out for people who don't have as much time as others. I think after having beaten the game, I just felt like, I can go ahead and fill my Pokedex. I can go ahead and do the shiny hunting thing, and I probably will do that in the future on my channel. There's just a lot. I don't know. There just felt like there was something missing. There was something missing in the game, and I just kind of left the game after beating it feeling unfulfilled a little bit. So some of my favorite Pokemon can't transfer in, which is a bummer. But I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the game. I liked the graphics. I loved the music was okay. I didn't love the music, but the graphics were great. The story was okay. I think that's another thing that kind of bothered me, was the story just wasn't... I felt like going through the game, and I'm going to try not to spoil anything here, but going through the game, I felt like things were happening in this world, but you weren't allowed to see it. It was like something would happen, and then the champion would go take care of it, and he'd tell you to go off and finish the Pokemon League. That's what I want you to do. And I kept thinking, okay, but what's going on? I have strong Pokemon too. I can help, and I don't think they they thought that through. They just wanted you to kind of go through and finish your gym challenge, but there were things happening that you couldn't be a part of. So it was a bit annoying. And then, some of the characters were kind of weak, I thought. I mean, Hop at first I thought was very weak. I thought he was just like Hal from Sun and Moon. But as the story progressed, I saw he had some things happen to him that changed his character a little bit, which is kind of nice. A couple of the other characters, I felt like they were trying to push this story of this evil business owner, and that really didn't end up. I mean, it kind of amounted to something, but I don't want to spoil anything. So I just want to say that the story it kind of fell flat for me. It wasn't really the most intricate story, and I don't really play for the story anyway. But I figured while going through the game, there'd be something that would happen that I could kind of latch onto, or something, but it just didn't work out that way. So Pokemon Sword has been eliminated from the list here. It is not in the top 3, which means we have 3 games left. 3 games left from the top 3. And you know what? It's weird because I love Nintendo, but these 3 games are not Nintendo games. It's weird, right? So we're going to give the bronze medal for Game of the Year to Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 4. I remember playing Resident Evil 2 years and years ago on the PlayStation 1, and when I heard they were remaking Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 4, I saw the video, I saw everything about it, I fell in love, and I had to play it, which spawned PlayStation Week on my channel, which will be coming back, by the way, probably in March. So I had to play Resident Evil 2, and the game was so fun. Like, I remember playing it years ago and falling in love, and then playing it now. The graphics are just so amazing. It's still very scary. They changed up some of the jump scares in the game so that you don't really know what's going to happen. My first encounter with Mr. X was terrifying, and I didn't beat it because I was honestly too scared. I want to go back and try again. I think I forgot what I needed to do, so I kind of had this weird situation where I got stuck. But I think overall, I love the game. The characters were great. The story was great because, I mean, obviously it's a story from years ago. But at the same time, they took all the things that made Resident Evil 2 great and they put them all in the remake. And I thought that was just so well done. And you don't get games like that today. You don't get games in the way that Resident Evil 2 remake gave us a game. There's no DLC, there's no extra costumes that you can buy. Maybe there are, but I haven't seen them. It's very true to the original, but also gives you some new things to look forward to. So Resident Evil 2 is getting my bronze medal for Game of the Year in 2019. So now there's 2 left. There is Borderlands 3 and Mortal Kombat 11, and the silver medal is going Mortal Kombat 11. I picked up Mortal Kombat 11 in April, I believe, when it was launched, and I fell in love. I think the one thing I didn't like about Mortal Kombat 11 was the story mode, and I feel like fighting games try to force this like story upon people that frankly I don't care, because I'm not playing this fighting game for a story. I'm playing this fighting game to get good with these characters, to figure out, competitive advantages and things like that. And Mortal Kombat 11 was one of the first fighting games that I understood the game on a level that I never understood a fighting game like that before. And it started to make me think about new strategies and things like that to other fighting games. So it really helped me understand fighting games better just because of the mechanics. And overall, I mean, I loved the graphics. They were very polished. The unlockable system was cool. The only downside was that when it was initially released, the unlockables were very hard to unlock, but they fixed all that, which is great. The cast of characters is great, graphics are great, music is cool. I mean, it's what you'd expect from Mortal Kombat. The fatalities were, they're excessive, but they're Mortal Kombat, so they're supposed to be. But in general, I just loved playing it. It was super fun. And I think the biggest thing that I liked about it is that they didn't go out of their way to make all of the girls in the game like scantily clad and over-sexualized and all this stuff. Like, they really did a great job of respecting women in this game, and I think that's something that you wouldn't really expect coming from like Mortal Kombat 9 and seeing some of those character models and saying, this girl's wearing a jacket and nothing else. That's dumb. But in this game, they seem to have everything under control, and the women don't look like they couldn't possibly fight you wearing that. They look like they're wearing, clothes that somebody who's fighting you would wear. So I think that's one of the minor details that I appreciated the most about Mortal Kombat 11. But generally speaking, the fighting was fun, the online was fun, and unlocking new costumes and new things for my favorite characters was just great. So Mortal Kombat 11 gets the silver medal for Game of the Year this year, which means that Game of the Year 2019 for my channel, Borderlands 3. I'm a huge Borderlands fan. I played Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. I skipped out on the pre-sequel because at the time I was kind of Borderlands out. I was kind of burnt out on Borderlands, but Borderlands 3 it took a little while for it to come out, and I think it was worth the wait. The story was pretty cool. There was a couple things that I didn't love about the story, and that I didn't like that a Siren's power could just be given to somebody else. I thought that was weird. The main villain, and this isn't really giving too much away, you find this out pretty early on. The main villain can siphon a Siren's power and become more powerful by doing that, which I think is an interesting idea, but I didn't like the idea of being able to give that another person, another woman, the Siren's abilities. So they rolled with it, they pushed forward with it, and I think overall at the end of the day I was fine with it, but it took some getting used to, because I didn't think that was a mechanic in the storyline for Borderlands. That's the only thing that I had about Borderlands I didn't like, but the new guns and the new mechanics in the guns, the new I guess poison, the radiation ability or the radiation debuff is great. There's a ton of guns. The stories are great. The characters were kind of strange at first, but once I started to play them a little bit more, I appreciated them a little bit more. And the story I think was pretty awesome. I liked the story a lot overall. But Borderlands, I think one of the greatest things about Borderlands 3 that I loved the most was the music. So the music in Borderlands 3 was some of the best music I'd heard in a video game in a long time. And fighting one of those bosses and hearing this dubstep remix or whatever it was playing in the background it just pumped me up and made me hype, and no other game has made me feel more like a badass than Borderlands 3. So Borderlands 3 is my game of the year for 2019. And there you have it. That is the Game of the Year show. Everybody, thank you so much for coming by today. There are some games to look forward to in 2020, and I'll name off a few right now because I know of them. First of all, we've got Final Fantasy VII. I will be opening the Super Special Legendary Edition with the Cloud Strife motorbike or whatever it is. That'll be coming out in March. I believe it's a week before Animal Crossing. So I want to say that the 13th. I can't remember the exact date, but I think it's the 13th. Of course, Animal Crossing is coming out on the 20th, which I'm taking the entire week off of work that week to play both Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy. So you'll see me online on Twitch a lot more those 2 weeks. And then Resident Evil 3, the 3-make, Nemesis, is coming out in April. So already lots of games to look forward to. We've got E3 coming up in June. And a lot of great games to hold us over until then. I do want to try to play one game a month so I can have a larger pool of games to select from. So, of course, stay tuned for all that. But in the meantime, check out my Twitch channel. Follow me on Twitter at l3layze, and you should be able to find me on there. But Twitch, I stream every Friday night. I stream Fortnite, and Tuesday I also stream Fortnite there. I'm going to be doing a lot more games in the future too. Pokemon probably on Saturdays and some other things coming up in the future. So check out those channels for me, and I hope that I'll see you guys there. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for being a part of my channel, being a part of the stream. the streams on Twitch and just being a part of my community in general. Really appreciate you guys being around. Hit like, hit subscribe, comment away, and if you agree or disagree with anything on my list. But aside from that, thanks again. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.